Hey there, everybody. Let's see what we got here in terms of this learning objective related to voting and types of voting. First question we got is, why is it that voter turnout is so low? Well, I look at this in two different categories. One category is what the people say. The people say that they, for example, don't like the candidates that are involved in the election, and that relates to the other part of this, which is, I think, a structural thing where people say it's a winner-take-all system. So if I don't like either of the candidates and it's a winner-take-all system, I'm just not going to vote because, I'm not going to like the outcome either way. Back on the side of what people say I don't have time. People say, the weather's bad, and so I'm not going to be able to do it. People say that their vote doesn't matter, and that can be a problem. Some people say, I don't know the issues. A lot of times I say, if you don't know the issues, you should vote, because what happens is the campaigns buy the voter lists, and the voter lists are the people who vote, and they send them information. So if you don't know about what's happening in the election, well, you should go vote. You can vote for write-in candidates or vote for somebody who you know isn't going to win, so that next time the candidates and the campaigns send you information because they know that you're a voter. On the structural side, we already mentioned winner-take-all is a problem, because some people think, well, my candidate's not going to win, so why should I vote? It's a winner-take-all. You first past the finish line. Whoever gets the most votes is the winner. So you can get 49% of the votes and get nothing. So the winner-take-all keeps people from voting, winner-take-all structure. You could also say that people don't vote because it's on a Tuesday. Maybe it should be a national holiday. Maybe we should vote on Saturday. Maybe there are other options. The absentee ballots, in a long time, 3 weeks, 2 weeks for in-person voting before the election day, that can help. But maybe having election day on a holiday, maybe not on a Tuesday, maybe on a weekend, that could have an effect. And then, of course, the other thing is the biggest factor that keeps people from voting is registration. I mean, it seems logical now that you say it, right? But the biggest single factor that keeps people from voting is you have to be registered to vote. And because of our system of federalism, while the national government sets the date of the election on a national level, the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November in even-numbered years, it's the states and sometimes the local communities that decide the process beyond that. So registration could be in person on election day, like it is in Wisconsin, but it also could be that you have to register 10 days, 30 days, 90 days before the election. So those laws are always changing, but the biggest obstacle is you have to be registered. And if you're not registered, you can't vote. And so you might decide on election day that you want to be a voter, but in some states, you're not allowed to do that. And one law that was signed one bill that was signed into law by President Clinton that I was fortunate enough to witness was called the Motor Voter Bill, became the Motor Voter Act, which made it so that you don't have to go and do a separate trip, do a separate something to register to vote while you're at the DMV or other public places where government functions are taking place. You can register right there and vote. It's kind of like, do you want fries with that? But they ask, do you want to register to vote? And then you're all taken care of. Sometimes people don't even remember it. Oh yeah, I took care of that, so I'm registered to vote. I don't have to register again because I did it at the motor voter place, the DMV. All right, so that's a couple of things about election.